Hello everybody. I think most of you will know me by now. My name is Jeremy Dean and I'm the Director of Admissions for Queen Ethelburgers, specifically working with our international students. And I'm delighted to be back in the UK for a few days. So I took the opportunity to meet up with Mr. Turner, Mr. Stephen Turner, who is the head of our Kings Magna Middle School. And it's a good opportunity for Mr. Turner to explain a little bit about what we do in Kings Magna, so we can pass this information on to new students and prospective parents. So, Mr. Turner, good morning.
Good morning, Jeremy. Thanks for coming over to see us today, and it's great to have a chat with you.
Good. So, first of all, I think it would be a good idea if you give us an overview of Kings Magna and how it sits in the collegiate here at Queen Ethelburgers.
So the collegiate's part of 4 schools here. We've got Chapter House, which is up to year 5. And then it's the middle school where we are this morning. We take students from year 6 through to year 9. And at the end of year 9, students then go on to one of our 2 senior schools, either the college or the faculty.
So what's the mix of students here? What's the sort of balance between international students and our UK domestic students?
The vast majority of our students in Kings Magna are British students, but one of the really rich things about Kings Magna is the fact that we welcome such a diverse community. I think that is one of the really wonderful things about being a student here, and also from a teacher's point of view, actually working here with over 30 different nationalities within the middle school. It really is, it's a truly enriching experience, despite the fact that the vast majority of our students here are British domestic students.
And do you think that helps with language learning? Is that one of the big advantages for Kings Magna students?
Certainly, I think the younger students start with us, the better they develop their British language skills. We certainly see a huge development of international students, and certainly the younger international students join us, the greater experience and more beneficial experience they have with us.
So from Kings Magna's point of view, what age can students from overseas join this wonderful school we have here?
Yeah, we like to welcome students from year 6, which is 10 years old, into our middle school. We've got a fabulous middle school model which really builds in independence. It takes the best of the model that students expect and experience from when they're younger. So we really look after the students. But we give them something very different in year 6, which is the opportunity to have a lot more specialist teachers and teaching than they would naturally experience elsewhere. And then as the students get older, we develop more independence and all the skills are around that, so the students really get a fantastic educational experience, but also growing them to be real all-rounders, whatever their passions and whatever their interests are.
And obviously some families worry because of the age of the students, that they're sending the quite young children to come and join the school, and safety is a big concern. What can you say about how students are cared for here and the safety within the grounds of the school?
We've got a fabulous campus here. It's a huge campus, beautiful campus, set in the middle of Yorkshire, between the fabulous city of York and the beautiful town of Harrogate. We are very fortunate to have this wonderful facility here. Our boarding houses are structured so that our year 6s are housed separately, so they have a nurtured house with some of the younger students. They're very much looked after on their own. And year 7, 8 and 9 are boarded together with year 10 in a vertical boarding structure, which means that any new students has got the benefit of there being older students there who look after them, and we've got a great buddy system there. Our house tutors and house parents really look after our students, and it really is, it's a wonderful safe environment for students to grow up in, and a really nurturing place, I think.
What subjects can students expect to learn here? One of the big questions we get from families is, do students get a choice, or do they do everything, or how do we actually take a student that's quite young with us and get them prepared for the next stage, which would be GCSE after they've finished here in Kings Magna? So what choices of subjects do you offer here?
So we have our core curriculum, which is English, Maths, Science, Personal Development, and and PE. And on top of that, then students learn a modern foreign language, and they do history and geography and computing as well. And in addition to that, we have our creative subjects, which everybody does. Everybody does design, technology, and art, and music as well. So we've got a really broad curriculum for our students to follow. One of the things that we've noticed over the last few years is that students really have certain passions and interests in different areas. So every single child in King's Magna has control over at least 3 periods a week during the school day of their own academic study. So whether that's choosing to do some more creative subjects, or whether it's choosing some more sports, every child from the age of year 10 has got the opportunity to personalise their curriculum, which I think is wonderful and quite unique, really, that we're able to do that at such a young age. We've also have a super curricular programme in place, which means that students in King's Magna, all students in King's Magna, have got access to a really wide programme of stretching and challenging activities which are designed for their own individual interests. We've got over 20 different subjects on offer in our Wednesday afternoon programme. And that's in addition to our wonderful enrichment programme that happens outside of the school day, with over 100 different activities taking place during the week. So we've got a really great opportunity for students to choose their own subjects. And when they get to year 9, students are able to further personalise their programme of study. They can do 4 options of their own choice. There are certain parameters around that. We expect everybody to do a humanities subject and everybody to do a language subject. But within those parameters, students can really start to explore and take subjects in more detail and more depth, so that they're really prepared then in year 9 for GCSEs in the following year.
That's good. So when students get to year 9, what help and assistance do you give those students in looking forward to the GCSE years and that transition from year 9? What kind of processes do you have in place here to help those students through that transition period?
Yeah, year 9's a fantastic year. As I've just said, we get the chance to do further personalisation of the programme, and so that starts in year 8, when we start talking about careers and options and subjects like that. Year 9, we really start year 9 off with a big focus on the future, and year 9 really is all about the future and growing our students. So all students do some careers profiling at the start of year 9. Every single student will do that, and it's a great opportunity for them to look at their skills and match their skills up with the sorts of things, the careers and interests for the future. And so that's the starting point. We spend a lot of time looking at the careers profiling with students during the autumn term of year 9. We work quite intensively with our careers department and our personal development department as well. Do a lot of work with students in terms of looking at what their interests are. But we're really careful though during year 9. Whilst we talk about the options that students have, it's really very important that children at that age do keep their options open and do have a really wide curriculum to choose from. So the transition process, then we have a big careers convention later on in the year. We invite a lot of big universities come, and people from industry come. We have a really big, and I think quite a unique.
And this is for year 9 students.
This is for year 9 students. Yeah, absolutely, and it's a great opportunity for them to meet industry professionals to talk about their future, and that takes place in the spring. So in the options convention, students get to chat to the teachers in different subjects, and so we have a whole process there where students really enter year 10, and when they leave King's Magna, really informed about what the options are that are out there.
Super. Language. Again, for older students, it's very critical that students have got a good level of English to be able to undertake things like the GCSEs and certainly the A-levels. How does King's Magna help students with their English? If students are joining us at a slightly younger age, how do we bring on their English skills? Do we have any specialised programmes, what we can do with students to help them develop language skills?
we've got two specific programs, one in year 9 and one in year 8 for children coming to us who need some additional support with their language. So we've got foundation programs for those students, which really builds their confidence in their English. We've got a highly specialised EAL department who teach English as an additional language to our international learners, and they do a lot of work to make sure that students coming in are GCSE ready when they leave us. I think it's really important that that children leave us with confidence, but no child is the same, and every child will have different needs in terms of their language and their language development. With our younger students, it may mean not pursuing a foreign language and replacing that with additional English lessons. So it's quite a bespoke package that we'll offer for year 6 and year 7 students. And actually, the younger the students join us, the more rapid that their progress makes. One of the things that we have done, Jeremy, though, over the last few years is we've invested very, very heavily in our teacher training programme, and a huge number of our teachers have gone through what's called the CLIL programme, and now the CLIL +2 programme, which is a programme for educators, for teachers, which helps them to understand the needs of international learners and enables them to teach their lessons in a way that is appropriate for our international students, and that particularly with the younger ones is really, really beneficial. So I'm very confident we've got a fantastic programme in place for international students.
I think QE's collegiate model with the four schools is quite unique. From your perspective as the head of King's Magna, what benefits do you think that brings, having this 4-school structure that we've adopted here at QE? Many parents and some of our partners overseas will ask us the question, why have you gone down that particular model? And from your point of view as the head of this middle school, what do you see as the benefits of that?
It's a brilliant model, Jeremy. It's fundamentally unique to us. We find that so many children, when they're at the top end of Key Stage 2, at the end of their primary education, are ready for more independence, for more challenge, and that's why our year 6 model is so good. It's so unique because it enables students to maintain that nurturing setup, but be stretched and challenged beyond that. Our curriculum in year 6 has been designed by secondary school teachers, delivered by people with specific skills in teaching those younger students. And I think that's brilliant. And the independence and initiative that our students show in year 6, I think is second to none. As you move through the year groups, it's this seamless progression that we have with our schemes of work, which are designed specifically to develop the skills that students need for their GCSEs and for their onward progression. And it also enables us as well to really look after our students.
Yeah, that's very important.
Because in smaller year groups, our students are really looked after. Each year group has got its own designated head of year. We've got international liaison officers as well who work with the students and with the parents. And in addition to our pastoral system that we've got in school, we've got a real the nurture that we can give and the time that we can give to growing each individual student, I think here is fabulous. And it enables us to make sure that by the time that students get to year 9, they've been cared for, looked after in a very safe environment, and that they're ready then for the new challenges in the 2 senior schools and the collegiate.
So as regards teaching, is all of the teaching done here in this particular King's Magna building? Is it all classroom based teaching? Is that the concept?
Our students, as they get older and move through the school, develop more independence and will move to different areas of the campus. We enjoy fantastic learning spaces for our students. But what's really important is the specialist teaching that we have and the specialist facilities. So students will have a lot of their lessons in King's Magna, but our specialist facilities for things like art are over in the Genesis building, which has got some wonderful facilities for art, which is shared with the senior schools. For computing, we have our own specialist computer rooms. our science laboratories facilitate a lot of practical experiences for students in science, and we share those again with the senior schools. And drama as well, and design technology. These are all facilities which have got excellent specialist staff working with the students and sharing those experiences with them, which are absolutely wonderful and unique here. Yeah.
Excellent. Some parents ask us about the young, gifted and able concept. Can you explain a little bit about that and how you work with those particular types of students?
We get a lot of students who've got all sorts of different talents and abilities, and in terms of sport and the creative side, we've got some fabulous opportunities for musicians. Our performance sports program is wonderful, and in terms of the academic work as well, if you take one area where we're particularly strong at is maths, and we've got some wonderful mathematicians here, and our maths groups are set up so that they're taught by ability ranges, where the top set is an accelerated set in each year group. The sets that sit below that work at 1 year ahead of where they would normally be. So we've got a really strong program for maths. But then these things are supported then with lots of competitions as well. So we've had a lot of success with the Junior Mathematics Challenge, for example, and we support our able and gifted students to really tackle some of these external competitions. We've been incredibly successful with the Bebris competition, which is the Oxford University Computational Thinking Challenge for our brightest computer scientist students. Our creative students have done particularly well in game designing. In English, we've been really successful in terms of entering the independent schools essay writing competition, and we won that competition last year, which was wonderful. So we've got a lot of these competitions going on.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned their game design, because obviously now in this ever-changing world, things like games are now really, really important, and a lot of younger students have desires to follow that type of career, and sometimes parents might not see that as serious. But obviously that's a big industry now.
It's fundamental, yeah. And we've invested a lot in computer science over the last few years. Everybody does computer science, and the building blocks of learning to code and learning programming are actually really, really important in terms of actually the skills for game design. And we spend a lot of time in year 8 doing game design, but actually the fundamentals of the processes, the coding that goes on, the computational thinking is really, really valid across all areas of that, and also in terms of the logical constructing skills that students get supports maths learning as well.
Excellent. I noticed you mentioned that there's quite a lot going on outside the school with inter-school competitions and things. How active are we in getting our students involved in things outside of the school?
Our students love to get involved in things, and one of the things that we recently launched is the Enrichment Award for our students. So on top of their success, our academic success, students are encouraged to have a go and to try different things. We really encourage our students to be all-rounded students, and the idea behind the Enrichment Award is to push students to have a go, to take part in different things. So be it cultural experiences, be it leadership experiences, be it sporting experiences. We really encourage our students to have a go and to get involved, and that's about being part, an all-round student here in Kings Magna.
From this discussion we've had this morning, clearly Kings Magna's got an awful lot to offer. What message have you got to parents who worry about that students are a little bit too young to come and study overseas? Obviously, being involved in the admissions process, I obviously see many young students, and parents do have anxiety. From your point of view, how can you express to parents that embracing the opportunity to put their students into this wonderful middle school that we have here, how can you reinforce that to parents?
the care of our students
Yeah.
is fundamentally important. It really is, and it starts in the boarding houses where they're looked after by their peers, and every student coming in is assigned an experienced student, whether it's in their own year group or slightly older, who acts as a buddy, make sure that they know what they're doing, they can find their way around, they get into the routines in school. We really encourage that dialogue between the house parents and the parents. Within school, we've got our fabulous liaison officers, and they really take great responsibility for the students in their care, and they're a really important link, and they'll speak to parents in their own language as well, which I think really helps, and can be reassuring for the students as well that there is somebody in school who can speak to them in their own language and really care for them. We are absolutely committed to making sure that students who come here enjoy the experience and settle in very quickly. And that's at multiple points during the year as well, Jeremy. We have a lot of students who come in at different points during the academic year, so we're very used to having this. We've got a really strong system of looking after our students, whether it's from their peers, through buddies, from the house parents, or from our school teams here.
Excellent. Finally, just want to talk to you about how you assess students. What is the process to make sure that students are progressing through the school at a level that that you're happy with? What is the process, and how do you assess students?
Yeah, we do a lot of baseline testing. So we make sure that students are on entry. We know what their profiles are, and we share those profiles with teachers as well, because that helps the teachers to understand the strengths and the development areas and the learning styles of different students. And I think that's really important. Every half term, students do an assessment in each of their subjects, which is formally assessed. And we report to parents their progress and their attainments every half term. We have formal examinations at the end of each academic year, and that's followed by a full written report to parents. So we track our students. We know their abilities from the testing that we do, so we know what to expect of them, and we track their progress every half term through these formal assessments. But we always welcome a dialogue with parents as well, and I think that's very important. Students work with their form tutors at the end of each assessment period to look at what they've done well in, and they always set themselves targets for the next half term as well, so they can kind of move forward with confidence. So we have very robust systems in place for checking and monitoring the progress of students. Obviously, it's very important to us that students leave us with the best skill set possible to be successful in their GCSEs.
How do you deal with discipline issues? And another question that gets asked quite often is things like, how do we deal with this discipline here? How do we ensure the students are behaving as we expect them to? And things like bullying and things like that. What sort of what measures do we have in place to make sure that we are completely in control of that discipline side of school here?
I think that's a really important question, Jeremy, and it stems from a sense of belonging to our school. We are a rich multicultural environment here, and there is a really strong sense of it being a caring community, and our students care for each other. And our students are aspirational as well. Our students want to be successful, and I think that in itself leads to strong attitude, really good attitudes to learning, really good behaviour, and really positive attitudes. With regards to bullying, we do a lot of work in terms of educating our students around that. But we have such a supportive community here. We've got a fantastic pastoral centre here. We've got a system of buddies for students, and students are encouraged to tell someone talk to someone if they're not happy about anything, whether it's feeling homesick or having any issues at all. It's that opening of that dialogue which we strongly encourage, and we've got really good systems here. We don't tolerate unkind behaviour to one another. That's not tolerated in any way, shape or form, and we've got robust systems in place here. But the key, I think, Jeremy, is that supportive nature of the school and a culture of high
And is that how you would describe the atmosphere here for students?
Oh yeah, the atmosphere here is palpable. You can feel that mutual respect around the place. It's something that you get a sense when you walk around the campus. Our students here are confident, self-assured, mature, but also kind, caring, resilient, and ambitious.
Well, there you go. You have heard from Mr. Turner this morning. Many interesting things about what we do here at Kings Magna, and I am sure any students that choose to come here and parents who put their faith in sending their children to us will not be disappointed with this fantastic school that we have here. And I think just one final message for the parents from you, Mr. Turner, would be more than welcome.
We really welcome our diverse community here. It is a wonderfully rich community of different cultures. The opportunities that students have here are absolutely second to none. We've got first class teaching. We've got a wonderful, beautiful campus with fabulous resources. But more importantly, we've got a fantastic body of students here who thrive here. Yeah. They love living here. They love working and studying here, and are really wonderful. Our students are our best ambassadors for us.
Thank you very much indeed.